we're going to be making some tacos.
Okay.
Some vegetarian tacos. What do you normally have in your tacos that you like?
What do I have in my tacos? Basically, I just put like black beans, tomato, lettuce, and cheese. That's probably what I would put in a taco.
All right, so let's get some black beans, because you said black beans.
Okay. Where's the beans?
Normally the beans would be in a pantry, but right now since we just shoved everything in the fridge, I think the beans are in the fridge.
Beans are in the fridge. Okay. Do we have a can opener?
Fingers crossed.
Well, today's lesson is how to open a can without a can opener.
All right, here's how to open a can without a can opener. This is extremely dangerous, and you shouldn't do this if you don't know what you're doing.
So I'm not going to even try and learn this from
the
Oren.
back end of your knife is a pretty good leverage point. You can just
oh my God.
Go.
Because
cans also are not black boxes. They're just metal.
Yes,
They're
okay,
metal
so yeah, we're demystifying things. And now we're demystifying what a can is. It doesn't require a can opener. You can't just bash it with the end of a knife, apparently. Oh, jeez. Oh, my God.
Here's a couple of reasons not to do this. One, it's dangerous.
Don't do this. Well, the thing he's doing is not part of the lesson.
One, it's pretty dangerous. You can easily stab yourself.
This is...
Two, it kind of can ruin your knife. All right. We've opened...
By the way, there is also bean spray.
Yeah, look, was this a good idea? No.
Oh my God, it's so sharp. And so...
All right. We've opened part of the can of beans.
Again, don't do that. Don't do what he just did. This is not a tip. It is not.
We're going to drain off.
Oh, drain the beans, yes.
Okay, so when you have the beans,
yes,
they come in the bean water.
Bean water.
You drain the beans.
Drain the beans.
Okay, one easy way to do that is just to run some water in.
Yeah. And
put the lid back over and then pour out the water till it runs clear. So you've got the beans. We're going to saute these beans with one other thing, some onions. So you want to grab us an onion?
Yes.
We've got a pan.
We have a pan.
We're preheating the pan. We want to do it on something like medium heat. All we're trying to do is cook the onion.
We're cooking an onion.
All right. Do you have questions about onions? I feel like you have onion questions.
They make you cry.
They make some people cry. That's true.
Are they going to make me cry? Is there a way to prevent the onion from causing tears to form in my ducts and fall down my face?
There's a bunch of tricks on how that people say make an onion not have you cry. I don't think that any of those work.
You're going to irritate people in the comments with that?
All I have to say...
I'm convinced that the tricks work.
...is that crying is fine. It's okay to cry.
Boys can cry.
So the skin is not edible. You want to take off the skin?
I thought your position was that everything was edible that isn't poison.
You can eat the skin. Fine. What I mean is it's not tasty.
Okay, so that's an important distinction, right?
Well, but it's not tasty to me. It might be tasty to you. Is that tasty? Now that you've tried it?
It's not the worst thing I've had. Can I tell you, it's probably better than the protein bars.
It's not a good advertisement for the protein bars. And these protein bars are sponsoring this episode.
No, actually, they'll probably sue us. We probably have to fuzzy out the protein bars because I said they taste worse than an onion skin.
Well, so no, you were right to call me on that.
How'd you shave that onion? I missed that. What'd you do?
What you do with an onion, we'll put the skin back on.
Rewind.
You cut off the top.
Yeah.
You slice down the side.
It's still in my mouth.
I told you not to eat it.
No,
I said, I don't think it's tasty. It might be tasty to you. You slice down the side.
Yeah.
And then you just peel off the skin.
Oh, okay.
All right. It comes off in one big layer. You feel good about yourself now?
I learned something today.
You did learn something. All right. Do onions taste big in giant chunks to you? If so, we can cut them into giant chunks.
I don't know.
Okay, we'll cut them into giant chunks. You love a big giant chunk of onion in your mouth?
I don't know if I like a giant chunk
All right.
of onion.
Most people don't.
Yeah, probably a little onion. A little bit of onion. No, I don't like... Actually, no.
You know.
Now. Yes, I don't like big giant chunks of onion. Okay, right.
Okay. So you want to cut the onion small. You can do this however you want, much like we cut the sweet potato small. I'm going to show you how I do it.
Okay.
And I think that's an easy way.
Yeah.
Once again, you don't have to. So, cut the onion in half. You seem disturbed by the pan.
Well, it's making a noise and a smell.
It's okay. It's a new burner.
Okay. Is that's not like concerning?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
All right. There's a smell.
See, there's just like a little bit of water on here, so it's just the steam.
Okay. Okay. So what do you do?
All right. Cut in half.
Yeah.
It's a half dome.
Yeah.
We're just slicing down.
Yeah.
Into strips.
Strips.
But we're not cutting all the way through.
Oh. Huh.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we're slicing in half like that.
Okay.
And then when you cut like this,
oh,
you just get little squares.
Okay. Can I try that
Yeah.
on this half of the onion?
There you go.
Okay. What did you do?
So in
you
lines.
cut it. Yeah. Yeah. You did lines.
All the way down.
But not all the way to the end of the onion.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you rotate it.
Rotate it.
And then you can if you want to make them smaller, you can slice in half this way, but otherwise you just start at the front.
What?
So if you want to make it smaller,
Yeah.
you can slice in half
horizontally. Right.
But you also don't have to.
That seemed like a finger risk.
If that's a finger risk, that's fine. So then you just start at the side where there's the side that you didn't cut all the way through. You start at the side that you did cut all the way through, and you just go down.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah.
See?
Look
Got squares.
Okay.
Look at that. Look at that professional onion.
Oh my god. Little onion squares. Little tiny,
Tiny squares of onion.
miraculous little baby. What do I do now?
Okay, so now you've got this piece.
What do I do?
Once you've got the big piece that you didn't cut all the way through, you flip it on its side.
Yeah.
Okay, so like we'll look at this one.
Yeah.
So we're slicing down, we're getting squares. Slicing down, getting squares. Slicing down, getting squares. All right. We're slicing down, we're getting squares.
Yes.
And then we're flipping on the side and just going down.
Oh, like so that. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Just like you do with the sweet potato, like a lever. So point on the ground.
Okay. Oh god, that's a piece of. Okay.
But once again, there's no wrong way.
Well,
if you want to do it in
no,
there isn't a wrong. Tell me the wrong way.
There's no wrong way to chop an onion, and then it's like, oh wow, do you like big chunks? No, it's a horrible way.
But if you liked big chunks, then you would chop it in big chunks.
So there are no wrong ways. There are just ways you won't like.
No, some people like big chunks of onion.
I just feel like your radically democratic impulses are
Look, I'm going to make this an anarchist show, and if it kills me.
Refrain from judgment in places where value judgments are called for.
There's no value judgment called for. You can cut onions however you want, as long as you do it the way you like.
Full of value judgments. It's just
it shouldn't be.
This is delicious. What is the word delicious?
It's your own value. You put it on. No one else tells you what it is. Okay. You decide what's delicious.
All right.
Anyone can cook.
I don't even want to get into my feelings about the film Ratatouille. And its neoliberal undertones.
We'll get into it in a second. All right. So when you're cooking something in a pan, usually you want some kind of fat that will help the thing cook.
Okay.
So we have olive oil. Do you want to just grab the olive oil?
Oh, that water's boiling, by the way.
Okay. Let's put the sweet potatoes in since they'll take a little while to cook. So just drop those sweet potatoes. I put 2 pots on so that they'll cook faster.
Is this too close to? Is this gonna get hot?
It shouldn't. One of our lights is on the burner.
Oh my god, oh god, oh god. I wish people could see this. Ah!
You don't have to, they're not all going to fit in there.
Oh my god, oh god.
Nathan, that's why there's 2 pots.
Oh! Well, what do I do with that one now?
There's a ladle right next to you.
Yeah.
There's one that has holes in it, which is probably better so you don't get boiling water all over you.
There are sweet potatoes everywhere.
And so just pick some of the sweet potatoes out and put them in the other pot. No big deal. Nothing's been messed up.
Jesus.
Even though it feels like chaos. Nothing's happening.
It was very chaotic. There were sweet potatoes all over the stovetop.
All right, so we're just going to let those cook.
That was a fucking catastrophe. So,
here's the question: was it?
Well, the sweet potatoes went everywhere.
Are the sweet potatoes in the pot?
Just to give everyone a sense of what happened, the sweet potatoes went everywhere. There was water boiling. The potatoes are just splashing and. But I guess it's fine now.
You got the sweet potatoes in the pot.
Got them in the pot.
All right. We have a bunch of onions. I put some oil in the pan.
Okay.
There's oil in the pan.
Oil in the pan.
The oil is hot. You can feel it like this. You're not gonna get burned, I promise. See? You feel how hot it is?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Take some onions.
Take some onions.
Put them in the pan.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, they're sizzling.
They're sizzling.
Okay, I'm not gonna.
Okay.
Okay.
You don't like that many onions? I remember you telling me. So that's how many onions we're
Well,
gonna
what are
put.
we doing with the rest of
We're
this?
gonna save these for another dish. Okay.
Okay.
But we chopped all of these,
Yes.
so we can use them in another dish.
Now, how long? Okay, never mind.
Go for it.
How long can you leave? What do you like? Do you gotta make a dish immediately with your pile of onions?
So,
If you
for
chop
me-
too many onions, what do you? Like?
for me, onions that you pre-chop aren't that great.
Yeah.
They go bad and they dry out after a while, and they lose their flavor. But so you probably want to make a dish right away with it.
Okay.
But you could save them in your fridge for a day or two if you really wanted. But usually, if for onions, you want to chop out about as many as you need. But you can always chop half an onion, put the other half in a Ziploc bag, chop it the next day.
Okay.
So we're just going to saute some onions until they get soft.
Just show people sauteing onions.
We're sauteing onions. That's all we're doing.
Okay.
no big
So
deal.
they're gonna get soft. Do I have to move them around?
You can move them around, and I'll tell you why.
When you say you can move them around, do you mean that I can move them around if it makes me feel good to move them around, or do you mean that you ought to move them around in order to make the onions softer or something?
Okay, well, grab a spatula and I'll tell you. Okay, here I am going to do one almost rule, even despite the anarchic
I
thing.
thought he was an anarchist, and all of a sudden we're just getting rules.
Well, okay, it's not a rule, it's a suggestion.
You could call it a heuristic if you were very pretentious.
If you don't want... This is a nonstick pan. If you want your nonstick pan to remain nonstick, Nathan...
I don't understand why you said my word with my name with the tone.
Because you've destroyed many, many nonstick pans. If you want your pan to remain nonstick, don't use metal utensils in it, and don't cut things in it.
I do use metal utensils in this.
I know you do, because I've seen your pan, and that's why things stick to it.
Oh God, there's something going on with the sweet potatoes.
Okay, you saw, so some water splashed out of the pot. Is that terrifying? No, it's just water.
Okay.
So what you do, you can remove the top,
Oh my God.
and just put the top to the side.
Okay.
Okay, and let it boil without the top. That means that it won't boil as strongly, and it won't bubble up to the top. But you're okay.
Okay.
So, it's metal.
Don't use metal in
No
a
metal.
nonstick pan.
This is plastic. You can use plastic.
You're allowed to use metal, but you'll destroy.
You're allowed
your
to
nonstick
if
pan.
you want to destroy your nonstick
If you
pan.
want it, if that's
That's
but
up to
that's
you.
okay. So it's
That's
not a
totally up to
rule.
you.
It's just a like if you want.
It's a
then-
conditional. It's a suggestion.
Okay.
So the reason to move things around is sort of intuitive. If things stay in the same place on heat for a long time, they might burn. If you move them around, it makes them burn less.
Okay.
So it's like a cheat. Moving things around is almost like a cheat. You don't have to get the heat perfect because
Wait,
you're moving
sorry.
things around.
What?
If things stay in the same place for too long,
Yes.
they'll burn.
Right.
Moving them around helps them not burn. So
Okay,
anytime you see a chef moving things around
it's,
or going
okay.
like this, it's just so they don't burn.
Okay. Okay.
That's all they're doing.
Okay. Okay.
They're not doing anything
As I
mysterious.
say, this is really 101 stuff because I am useless.
They're not doing anything mysterious.
Right.
It's just
Right.
they're just moving things around.
Right.
So you can move. You could choose the pattern. You could do a flamingo pattern.
Okay. I'm moving the onions around.
And what I'll say, one thing that makes cooking go a lot faster is you like a little music, don't you? From time to time.
Yeah, I like a little music.
You could play a music. You could play a current affairs podcast. Subscribe at www.currentaffairs.org.
Patreon.com/current affairs if you want access to the full bonus feed of Current Affairs podcast.
And you
yeah,
can
this would
listen
be
to
a
those
great
while
time to
cooking.
put on a Current Affairs podcast.
I would. You can make this dish with
Okay,
us. If you
so the onions
want. The onions are sauteing.
are sauteing.
At some point, they're going to become a little bit see-through. That means that they're soft.
Okay.
If you keep going, they're going to get brown. That's fine too. That just means that they're sweeter, and there's something called caramelized. Yeah, because there's sugar inside the onion that caramelizes.
Okay. Oh, caramel. I've heard of that.
You've heard of that, huh?
Now things are making sense.
All right, so we're going to have some spices in this.
Okay.
Do you want to go over to the spice rack and get...
I'll be right back.
Cumin?
Cumin?
And chili powder if they have it, or...
Oh, they got a spice rack. Okay.
Yeah. We're also going to use some of your infamous oregano.
Cumin and chili powder. Yeah, no, we're... Sorry, not in the spice rack.
Okay.
You got a choice between herbs de Provence.
We're not going to do herbs de
Pizza
Provence.
seasoning.
Nope.
Oregano, Italian seasoning,
Nope.
rosemary.
Nope.
Bay leaves, coriander, fennel seed, chives, sea salt, celery salt, marjoram, parsley, basil, crushed mint, thyme, savory, dill weed, cilantro, and seasoning salt. What do you
This
want?
is an extremely white house, but let's get the coriander.
Coriander. Little balls.
Oh, it's whole coriander, which is exciting, except we don't have a spice grinder, so we're not going to use coriander.
That would okay.
So that's what coriander seeds look like.
What do you want?
No spices.
No, we're not going to use spice.
We're not going to use spices for this, which is breaking my heart.
Well, we're just going to put some of this in?
We're going to put some oregano. We're going to put some salt that we brought from your house. And do you want to grab the pepper?
Yeah.
That is at least what we have. Okay, we brought these from your house. You had salt and pepper.
Yes.
Okay.
I did have salt and pepper.
We're going to grab our beans.
From our...
hacking the beans.
From our hacked up, let's not mention
Hacking
it again.
the beans episode. And we're going to check the potato. Because it's very small pieces, it may have boiled quickly. So with the spoon that you use to transfer the rogue pieces, just pull one out and see if it's soft. So, you pick it up. Put it in your mouth. It's not soft.
No?
Oh, it's almost soft.
Okay.
Oh. It's almost soft. It probably has 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes, okay.
Which is fine, because we still need to saute our onions a little bit more.
Oh, yes.
So we're waiting for these to get see-through. Right now, they're almost there.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, for everyone watching this is obviously not professional cooking, but you'll be able to feed yourself.
Excuse me. When you say this is obviously not professional cooking, what do you mean by that?
I mean that there's a whole series of YouTube channels that have people like, everything's chopped perfectly and everything's like, those are the channels that make you feel bad.
My onions are ugly.
No, your onions are wonderful. They're the onions that you.
They're not professional onions.
They're not professional onions.
Okay.
But amateur.
But they're fine.
Amateur is good.
Essentially, what you're telling me is that it'll taste fine.
It'll taste fine, and that's the point. And the difference between fine and great for these serviceable meals is not anything spectacular.
Right. Okay.
There's no reason to feel bad, I guess is the point.
Right.
Right. You'll watch recipes online, they'll be like, do it exactly this way, and you'll be like, fuck, how do you do that?
Okay.
And the real thing is you don't have to.
So what do you want me to do now?
So we're just going to wait for these onions to saute a little bit more. All right, now tell me, while we're waiting for this, tell me about your feelings on Ratatouille.
Well, I watched Ratatouille, the TikTok musical. I've never seen Ratatouille, the movie, and I happen to feel as if there was an implicit message that I found politically offensive. And that message was, the whole theme is anyone can cook. And it's based on the French chef's book, Anyone Could Cook. But I feel like what it really means, and why I say it's neoliberal, is that the rat is very talented at cooking. Mm-hmm. And the reason that he faces injustice is because they're not letting this talented rat cook. Because anyone should be able to cook, regardless of who they are, as long as they have talent. Mm-hmm. And it feels like a plea for meritocracy to me, to say well, even if you're a rat, if you're good at cooking, you should be able to cook. But that doesn't tell me, who is a person who just is garbage at cooking, like you can cook. It just says if you were very talented, it wouldn't matter if you were a rat. You should be allowed to own a French restaurant.
Okay, yeah, no, I actually, when you said Ratatouille is neoliberalism, I was like, fuck, this is some sort of weird Twitter thing.
No, Ratatouille is neoliberalism. It's true. It's just a fact.
No, the real thing should not be anyone can cook. It should be everyone can cook.
Everyone can cook.
Every single person.
But everyone can't cook because...
Yes, everyone can.
You know, look at my ugly onions.
You're cooking right now.
My non-professional...
Professionalism is overrated. All right, we're going to add the beans.
Add the beans.
Because the onions are see-through. You see this onion? See how it's a little see-through?
Yeah, I guess.
All right, we're adding the beans out of our hacked up can.
Don't mention the hacked up can. If people
it worked well.
Try it and sue us.
We said don't try it a number
Don't
of times.
try. It's not don't try it at home. Don't try it.
Don't try it at all.
Just don't try it.
All right, we're gonna add.
Stir this.
We're gonna add the you can stir it for the same reason. We're gonna add the spices that have to go in everything.
Okay.
Salt.
Yep.
And pepper.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And the best way to make food that tastes not that great, tastes pretty okay, is to just season it correctly, which means salt and pepper at every stage.
Okay. And you put oregano in.
I did put oregano in.
My oregano.
Mostly because it's the only spice that we have.
My useful pantry oregano.
It's the first time it's been used since you bought it.
I can't deny that. That's a true fact. Okay.
So I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit.
Okay.
And do you want to, I think our potatoes are probably ready. So what you want to do is turn off the heat.
Okay.
And get out a strainer. Like a colander or a pot that has holes in it.
Where?
One is right here.
Oh.
It has some potato skins in it, which you can toss.
Oh my god. Oh my god. This is heavy. This is really heavy. Jesus.
That's why you've been lifting all those weights.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So now we've got our sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
The amount that you want to use in your tacos, we're going to take out and put in the pan.
Okay.
The rest, we're going to save for a meal that we're going to make later.
Okay.
For later on down the line.
Yep.
Okay. So we've got some people coming over, so we want a substantial amount of sweet potatoes. But we also know that we have to eat later this week.
Oh, we will to save some sweet potatoes.
So we're going to save some sweet potatoes for another
future
dish.
meals.
Now these will keep much longer than pre-cut onions.
Okay.
You could save those for about a week.
Okay. Yep.
So we're turning up our heat, and we're just going to cook these until they get a little sizzly.
Okay.
But what was the thing that I said you have to do at every stage? It's okay.
Salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper.
Salt
so
and pepper.
we added a new ingredient.
Yep.
Let's add some more salt. Let's add some more pepper.
Okay.
And we're just moving those around. Also, if you don't want to, you don't have to.
If you don't want to, you don't have to. What do you mean?
You don't have to. You don't have to move them around.
But then they'll burn.
Ah, there we go.
Oh, this is me learning that actually there are rules, even though we
No, there are rules. You just know cause and effect.
There's no rules. There's just cause and effect. If you want them to burn, you don't move them around. If you do want them, yeah, okay. Okay.
All right, now you're just mashing them.
Sorry,
I
whoops.
don't know why you're doing it.
I'm mashing them.
You can do that if you want, but
Okay, I was mashing them. I'm sorry.
you got mad at the potatoes.
I just thought that it would help.
But what's the goal
But
of
why?
moving it around?
For them not to burn.
Does mashing help with that? You know the answer.
I don't know. Sure. Okay, it doesn't help. Don't just start. Watch your gestures. You might slip from a move around to a mash without being conscious of it. Okay.
So we're making tacos. So the other thing that we need are tortillas.
Tortillas.
We could just put this stuff inside the tortilla. That would be a fine and serviceable meal.
Okay.
The other thing that we can do is toast the tortillas.
Ooh.
I think that makes them a little bit better. Makes them a little crispy. So we're going to do
I've
that.
never toasted a tortilla. I've just put them in the microwave for 10 seconds.
You could also do that. And why do you do that?
I don't know, it makes them damp. It makes them damp or something.
It makes them softer.
Softer.
Which makes it easier to roll when you do a burrito, right?
Yes. Yes.
See, you know how to cook. You're teaching me how to cook.
Everyone can cook.
Everyone can cook.
Okay. What are we doing?
So I'm going to do this on the oven that's off screen. But to toast a tortilla, the easiest way to do it is just have a pan that's really hot and then just drop the tortilla in it for a couple of seconds and then flip it.
Okay.
So I'm going to go do that over there.
Okay.
While you take care of our beans and you tell our good viewers
and I don't
socialism.
And I don't mash them. Well,
if you want to.
We're trying to this is the thing, we're trying not just to show you the beginnings of my journey to feeding myself, but to inculcate a radically democratic, non-elitist ethos that is at the cornerstone of socialist praxis.
Oh, fuck.
Sorry, practice.
I leave for 1 second.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say praxis. That's socialist practice. Because I think the core of socialism is a belief in people, belief in what they can do, and a hatred of classism and snobbery, and a belief and mainly of exploitation, but part of it is thinking that nobody is worthless. And I feel like I'm pretty worthless as a cook. So we're going to bring an egalitarian socialist ethos to the art of not mashing this up.
That was well put. I mean, I think that there's also another thing, right? Which is, it's really easy to be a guy and be like, I don't know how to cook. And then, like, other people are just like, okay, well, I've had to learn how to cook over my life.
Yes, it's true.
And then you just never have to do it for the rest of your life.
It's true. It is a mark of some privilege to not have to or to have been able to get others to make your food for you. Whether that is the company that makes the microwave meals or, a restaurant workers.
So I'm going to add one last thing to our meal. Tacos usually have a lot of accompaniments. And if you're super busy and you don't want to make up a bunch of stuff, that's fine. But usually it might be a little bit boring to just have this in the taco. So you might want to add some hot sauce on it, which you can buy in a jar. You don't need to make your own hot sauce. Or you can add some sour cream or whatever. We have some yogurt, and I'm going to just mix that with some lemon.
Okay.
And the reason that tastes good, so I think this is pretty done.
Yeah.
The reason that tastes good is because our palate likes a bunch of different flavors. So this is a lot of savory stuff. But yogurt is a little bit tangy and lemon is a little bit tangy. And so we like when there's tanginess or sort of acid, and when there's savoriness.
Okay.
And when there's crunch and there's different textures. That makes food interesting and enjoyable to our mouths.
I got you.
All right, so I'm going to grab those, and then we'll make a little practice taco, and then end this episode. All right, tell the people about socialism. Are you for or are you against?
I think I'm for. I wrote a book called Why You Should Be a Socialist. And so I think it'd be pretty embarrassing for me to abandon it at this point. So I have to double down even if I find reasons to believe that I was completely wrong about everything. Because that's the way you should live your life.
So what I've done is I've made up some yogurt and some lemon and salt and pepper, of course, because everything needs to be salt and peppered.
Right.
We have a crispy tortilla back there. Do you want to grab our tortilla?
This one?
Mm-hmm. It's nice and warm. It's bendable, though, still.
This is the bad tortilla.
It's a fine tortilla. We're all God's tortillas. So what I like to do, just put a little bit of this cream down. Put a little bit of our filling in. And there we go.
There we go.
And if you were making this for yourself,
it
took us not that long, and you've got, how many meals do you think this could make?
Well, quite a few. There's a lot in there.
You could probably make 2 days worth of tacos, maybe 3 days.
So I could put this in the fridge and just
keep
making tacos all week.
All you'd have to do is make
And
one
I'd still have a
tortillas,
bunch of sweet potatoes
and you'd
left.
still have a bunch of sweet potatoes.
Sounds good.
So cooking is this thing, just as we end. How is that?
That's all right, you know.
It's very healthy. It's super high in protein.
The toasted tortilla is lovely.
I mean, so one of the things that we wanted to talk about is cooking often feels not worth it because it's hard to conceptualize the time on the front end for the payoff on the back end. Well, you made it.
Ah!
You chopped the sweet potatoes.
Really good.
You sauteed the onions. This is your meal.
Wow.
And you've got meals for 3 days.
Boy, I'm done.
All I wanted to say is it's sometimes hard to invest the time at the front end because you're like, oh, this is going to take a lot of time. I don't have time to do anything. But actually, you're making meals that can last you a lot longer into the week. So the investment on the front end, an hour on the front end, saves you a lot of time later because you don't have to go to the grocery store or the shop to buy a taco. It costs way less. So it's much more efficient and cost effective.
The yogurt.
On our next episodes, we're going to go through how you make breakfast, how you deal with eggs, how you make something, a dish to woo someone, and many other things.
The yogurt's like cheese, but it's not cheese.
It's much healthier. There's no fat in that yogurt.
Oh my god, it's just as good as cheese.